NTDLV.com is a fully independent Black and Filipino woman-owned and energized platform. You know, there's no algorithms, there's no censorship. It's really like what you see is what you get. And just shouts out to all the friends that you know continue to support me. To me, that's actually been my greatest promo. It's just word of mouth. People letting people know, people telling a friend to tell a friend, you know, that there's nothing to do in Vegas until you come to our website so you can find out the cool things to do.
Oh, you got a whole set of like, is this where you do coloring club?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, wait, these tables look kind of familiar. That is so sick. So you guys like have people here and host people?
Everything, whatever we feel like. Whatever we feel like.
You guys play music too?
Play
like
music,
live and stuff?
Live. We have shows back here. Come on, I'll give you the tour.
Okay. Wow, look at that mural of you right there. Oh my god, that's so sick. Who drew that?
My homie Ace. He's an amazing muralist from LA.
Wow, look at the resemblance though. Look,
hold
that's
on.
her. That's the Coco Jenkins, everybody. Let's go. Can I just say really quick, I have seen your influence from like years ago. And I remember specifically this one video where I think you were actually getting interviewed at that time. And in the video, you had mentioned like that you just push content out and you're not even like on social media like that, you know, doom scrolling. You really are out here living your life and like in the mix and like doing things and connecting with people, doing different shows, hosting events, DJing. You're a singer. I know you have a song with Red, Grateful for My Story. It is such a vibe. Every time I hear it, I be like, grateful for my story.
Okay.
Yeah. As a Vegas resident myself, I've lived here my whole life. Grew up with that idea of like, there's nothing to do out here in Las Vegas. Like as a kid, what would I do? I'd go kick at the power box, go chill in the car, and it's
power
always
box for sure.
The vibe like, okay, there's nothing to do here. But then Coco Jenkins created this whole concept that is now its own website, its own company, its own business. There's nothing to do LV.
Yeah, well, kind of like how you said, when I was a kid, all the kids would be like, this place sucks. There's nothing to do here. I can't wait to move back to Cali. And then I would be like, well, first of all, we're kids. So yeah, like this is Vegas. Of course. But also, did you know, like every last Saturday of the month, this fool has a house party at his house, like with live bands. There's the Rockin' Java. There's like all these things that we could do as kids. Like even as a kid, I was like, no, there's stuff for us to do. You just have to find it. And then I started playing in a band when I was 19. I started playing bass in a hip hop band called Rhyme and Rhythm, R&R. In 2006, they banned hip hop from the Strip, from the Las Vegas Strip. Sheriff Bill Young, you can look it up. He banned hip hop. And then my band, we came out like 2010, and we definitely had something to do with bringing hip hop back to the Strip because we were a full like 8-piece band. Anyways, it was hard to get the word out about our shows, and it was hard for me as like a newly 21-year-old. Like, yo, where is the stuff at? Where's the people? Where's the art? Where's the weird stuff? Like, I wanted to know it all, and so and I knew a couple things in my head. I knew like, oh, Mondays there's Human Experience open mic night, and Tuesdays is Nickel Beer night at Beauty Bar, and you know Wednesdays is the bike ride. I just had like these events that I would collect in my brain, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure if people knew about these things that they would want to go. Like people want to know like where cool stuff is. So I just started compiling the info, and then started putting it out on Instagram. And I didn't have my own personal Instagram at that time. I was like anti-smartphone. I'm still probably anti-smartphone. But so it's funny. I know it's so funny that like I created this job in like social media. But to me it's really like people get lost in the social media, but it's really about like that merging of like analog and digital spaces, right? Like using the digital space as a platform to fuel your real life and your real life connections. And so I think some people like get lost one way, and I don't think, I mean you can, but I don't think it's as fun to be fully analog. Like digital, like connecting online is fun. I've been online since I was a kid. Like I love being online, but also I love riding my bike. I love being in my yard with my chickens. Like having people over to color. Like doing real life activities. But it's just connecting it with the world.
Right. So really just using it as a tool for connection.
Yeah.
How amazing. This is like the epitome of what people should follow when using social media, because sometimes if you go down the wrong rabbit hole, it could get depressing, but if you use it for that connection and to build community, which I feel like you really do exceptionally well.
Thank you.
Okay, I know you just gave me a small glimpse of your trajectory. Like I know you said since you were young, you were always like trying to figure out what were cool events to go to or connecting with people. And then you jumped to when you were first 21 and you had your band and how you brought hip hop back to the Strip. I know that's just the tip of the iceberg of like all the many things that you've done. But since you did mention Coloring Club, I'm curious to know about that a little bit more. Like, how did that start? Because I know that's one of the more newer events that you've been hosting. Is that right?
So we've been doing Underground Coloring Club for about a year. It actually started because there was a weed lounge in the city that invited us to come create an event for their lounge as marketing, turn their night around, blah blah blah, and we did great. Every Monday night we would sell out. It was a good time. And then when it came to renewing the contract or the end of the contract, they were like, "Hey, that was a great event, but we're just gonna do it ourselves. We're just gonna do it ourselves." And then
Oh,
I had the crayons, I had the markers. I was like, well, you know what? We're just gonna do it ourselves. We're just gonna do it ourselves. I never cared about having a big house, but I always cared about having a big yard because I always wanted to throw parties. I always wanted to, and by parties I really just mean like holding space, like holding the type of space like that I want to see, that I want to enjoy. So not necessarily turning up when we want to turn up, but also like just chilling,
I love creating space too, and that's so meaningful. Like, cause it's rare, or it's been rare.
That's my when I share stuff on Nothing to Do LV, I'm always looking for the creators and entities that create spaces for people that maybe I'm not necessarily connected to, but I see like, wow, look at all those weird people like connecting to each other. And people sometimes take weird as an insult, but I mean it in the best way possible. I got called weird growing up every day as a Black and Filipina kid in a mostly white school, playing cello, being into underground hip hop, like being in, I just got called weird all the time. So it's not an insult. It's like, to me, that pushes you to help you find the people that are weird like you, and like it's okay. And in Vegas, you could find all kinds of people, like all kinds of people. So like when Pride Style Pro Wrestling approached me to be a sponsor for them, I don't know nothing about wrestling. Pride Style Pro is a all-inclusive wrestling platform. By all-inclusive meaning like they have straight, gay, trans wrestlers. I don't know anything about wrestling, but let me go pull up. And I went and I was like, wow, look at this amazing space you guys created. Like, and it's such a fun time. So anything like that. There's an event called Freakorama. Shouts out to Lily Fair. And it's like just the most debaucherous, like bloody, gory, sexy event. It's like very punk rock. And it goes down at the Double Down. So I really love like platforming those kinds of things, because I know when I was a kid, I was like, damn, where's everyone else that's like me, like where's someone else that's like playing cello and like listening to MF Doom? I don't, like I don't know. I share the events, but really to help people find their home. And so I'm home, and to bring it back to your question, Underground Coloring Club, I just knew. So on a personal tip, like I love to smoke and I love to do creative things like artwork and stuff. But at the puff and paints, I also have ADHD or something. I don't know. They would be like, okay, like you follow along with them, and eventually I would tap out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what's an activity that you could do that's still creative, where you can kind of tap back in and tap out, you know, at your own rate, at your own pace. You could talk to people if you want. You could zone into your coloring sheets. It's your To me, it's like really helping people live their best blessed life. Like it's your choice. It's choose your own adventure. So people come to coloring club. Some people just zone in and they don't talk to anyone, and that's okay. Like it's post 2020. People are introverts. People having social anxiety. So, but so for them coming out to just color with people, like that's enough.
Yeah.
You know. And some people, they'll feel like that, but then eventually they'll need a lighter. Someone asks them for a lighter, ask them for a crayon, and then now there's this like just natural communication that happens that I feel like I don't always see in spaces because we're turning up or I don't know, or we're learning something. Even that, like, you know, you got to focus so much that you don't necessarily get to like interact and communicate naturally.
Right, like it's so many structured cookie cutter type of places or like events, whereas this specific event allows that fluidity of like letting people be themselves and letting them connect how they want to and show up in the ways that they just naturally are.
Exactly.
Which is so inspiring. And also like your backstory about like how you grew up and like your racial identity and just like that experience you had in school. Especially, what school did you go to?
So I grew up in Henderson. I grew up in deep Hendo, like Hendertucky plus, you know, like
Kentucky plus is comedy.
So, because they consider like the Water Street area, like Hendertucky. I live a little more south of there, so it's actually like economically is like very diverse. You have all. I graduated from basic high school.
Okay.
So I'm like deep Hendo.
Right, that's
deep,
far deep, east, south.
So I went to school like I was always one or two. I was always like, you know, one of two black kids in the class, let alone Filipina. They didn't even know what to do with that. They were like, "You're what? Your mom's what?" Like, and then so with mostly white kids, a lot of those kids were Mormons. Much love to the Mormons. I grew up with like Mormon best friends and their families, and so they would be making like the best treats and desserts and foods. I had a really great experience with the Mormon folks here, and like they really helped mold the city, especially out in Henderson. It's interesting because we're in Sin City, and they're so like, no, we don't, you know, we don't drink coffee, we don't say bad words. We don't, you know, we don't show our shoulders. Like,
right. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
So city for real,
like. For real, yeah. But to me, that's like the diversity of Las Vegas is what makes it so dope. So you really can choose your own adventure. You could, you know, be as saintly as you want or as like sinful as you want. Like it's really like your choice.
Which is interesting. We're so diversified, yet these structures in place are so like you gotta present
very
yourself
conservative.
a certain way. But you're over here just like breaking through barriers and showing people that there's another path. You're literally a trailblazer. I think you're like one of the most iconic names out here in the valley. Like, come on now, let's keep it real. Like, she's really out here doing it. Okay, I wanted to see if you could give us a tour of the outside space.
Okay, so right now this is like. We're gonna have Underground Coloring Club on 4/20 to celebrate. Like, to me, it's a real holiday, right? I've been telling people to take the day off. Like, you gotta work take it off. Come celebrate with us. Celebrate celebrate the days that you find are important, whether the government tells us to or not, right? Whether they're mandating that day off. That's how I feel. So right here is gonna be a little massage area.
Nice. I see it next to the palm tree.
Next to the palm tree. Come on. I might have to trim these a little more. But I love trimming palm trees, by the way. It's like my favorite yard job. Okay.
Hey, that could be art in itself.
This over here, this is the stage.
The landscape.
Watch out for the chicken poops.
Oh, this is the stage right here?
This is the stage.
Oh,
Can you help me move this out of the way? Whoa. Careful. Okay. Yeah. So this, like, we'll have the drums set up here. My homegirl Pam, she throws a lot of punk and metal shows back here, so that she could throw them all ages, because there's not a lot of all ages spaces here.
Yeah.
But we've had all kinds of shows. You know, we do like hip hop stuff, hip hop, jazz, soul stuff. So yeah, or
perfect stage.
we've had poetry nights here.
Whoa, I love it.
But
And you
yeah.
just like set up the chairs and stuff to like face the stage.
No,
or you keep it
normally normally the tables and stuff aren't here, so it's just a rage.
Okay.
Like we've had 100 kids back here moshing, falling into the fire pit, and just getting just getting back up again. I'm like we had chairs in the fire pit, so like no one would fall in, and someone still fell in, but it's all good. They're kids.
This is sick right here. Yo, poetry right here too. I love it.
So then we'll either we might set up some chairs or some blankets.
So cool. Ooh, what does this say right here? Be the answer to
life. Be the
to
answer
life. Okay. Oh, I missed the life.
That's the homie Henry. That's the ladies down there. That's like one of their favorite places to chill.
Hi, ladies. How you doing?
These trees are actually very important. They were the first trees planted by the Nevada. Hold on, Nevada. There's an organization called Nevada Trees, and they go around and help. They plant trees in people's yards and in the streets, and their goal is to like put more fruit trees in the Las Vegas area. So we were the first trees planted as part of that initiative.
Wow.
And we had a whole ceremony and celebration back here.
How cool.
So this one is a pomegranate tree. Here, watch your step.
Wow, you got history back here too?
This one's a little orange tree. And then this one's a almond tree.
Oh, wow.
Did you know almonds grow on trees?
I had no idea.
I had no idea either.
I literally did not know. Oh, wow. So around what time of the year do they sprout the fruit?
They haven't yet. I think because this one's still... they take a while, like 3 to 4 years before they start giving fruit. The pomegranate gives us fruit.
Okay. This one's still probably like
Blanca, leave them alone. Come on. He does love to chase the chickens, and sometimes I need his help because they don't move. We've had a vegetable garden here, but it's not currently growing anything. Sorry, our fire pit knocked over. But yeah, this is where we color.
What a cool spot, man.
Oh my gosh, I love...
Also, this is a cool bench. Did you paint this?
My homie Patrick came and painted it. Nice. This bench used to live at Vegas Roots Community Garden. And then when they went out of business, then they were selling a bunch of... So we got this bench. So also history. Also Vegas history right here.
Vegas history, for sure.
This is my e-bike.
Oh, you got an e-bike?
Dude, I love riding my bike so much. And I live right here in the Arts District, like near the Arts District. So, and I refuse to pay for parking, so...
Nice.
I ride my bike everywhere.
That is so dope.
And I have this little, like when I DJ, I have this tiny controller that goes in my backpack, so I could just get on my bike and
just
pull
on
up.
The go.
Yes,
Coco
yes.
Jenkins has arrived.
This is just a little chill spot.
Ooh, I like this area too. It's like under this like...
It's called a pergola.
A pergola?
Cool. So we had these reeds here when we first moved here, and we just wanted to like celebrate them, amplify them.
Oh, I love it.
And then that's the chicken coop over there.
Okay.
But obviously the ladies aren't in there.
Yeah.
They're chilling at the... But that's their
What
coop.
made you want to get chickens?
I didn't. None of the animals in my life I ever asked for. I just been blessed with them, and now I'm an animal sanctuary. all of my pets, dogs, the cats, the chickens, I just kind of got blessed with them, and I'm grateful. But never as a kid was I like, oh, when I grow up, you know, like I was telling you, like I want a huge yard so I could throw parties for my friends. I wasn't like, I want to grow up and have a huge yard so I can have all these animals. And then Giselle, that runs my foodie page, whenever she does like my birthday shout out, she'll be like, Coco Jenkins, you know, musician, artist, community leader, animal lover. And I was like, I'm not an... Oh, I'm an animal lover. I'm an animal lover now. So
yes.
I'm grateful. I'm like I just got blessed like a Disney princess.
Mm-hmm. What a bio. Mm-hmm. Epic. I love that. You're a natural though. You're a natural speaker. And big on community leader. Am I right? Hi. Hello.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm glad you get to see it because you get to see the outside, but like how it looks.
Live, yeah. I like the lighting, just the setup. It just really transforms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's do right there.
Actually,
okay. Let's maybe this is so exciting. I'm in Coco Jenkins' room. Okay, what are some of the things that you've like experienced that you would consider to be a challenge that you've overcome, and how have you overcome it?
That's such a good question. And I'm not saying I haven't had challenges, but I just really like I would have to think about some. I don't have any ready. Why? Because you can't sit in them. You can't like there's so many challenges every moment. It's like so if I feel like me personally, like if I start to sit back and be like, damn, that was really hard, like, I just gotta keep it pushing forward at this point. That's how I feel. Almost to not even a fault, but like Red's mom, she always reminds me like too, like, hey, take a moment to celebrate, celebrate like, hey, you did this dope thing. Like sometimes I don't even do that. Why? Because I'm just moving forward, trailblazing, right? So sometimes you can't stop to smell those flowers, even though I think it's very important too. And like every day I just continue to strive to just be in that work life balance. And I've been able to create the work for me that's like living my best life. Hosting Underground Coloring Club, like, yes, that's like a job of mine right now, right? All the work that goes into it, literally, the palm trees, cleaning the tables, like cleaning up the poops, like making it nice for everyone. But that also goes back into my real life. It's my yard. Now I get to enjoy it and like spend my time there. And so the money that people spend to attend Underground Coloring Club, it literally just goes back into it to provide that safe, great space for people and then also for myself. So for me, it's like the first a challenge, I guess I would say. I think for creatives that don't come from a certain space, it's always the finances. The finances is always a challenge, and I'm always gonna like say that because unless you're like super rich, it's hard to provide those things. So what did I do? My story is just that I was a teacher. Baby, can you turn the TV down a little? Thank you. Um, I was a middle school orchestra teacher for 5 years, and I just lived my life. I didn't spend a lot of money, and I saved up a bunch of money. And one day, I was like, man, I'm tired of waking up every day at 6 a.m. for other people's kids. And the Instagram page was like at a point where it was like successful, helping people. It was doing the things. But also it was like it could just exist there and that's it. That's the legacy of Nothing to Do LV. Or I could take it to the next level. And I decided like, oh, it's time. It's time to take it to the next level. And I stopped teaching. I looked at my bank account. I had saved up $37,000. Don't ask me how. It's just it was really just me like throwing money and not looking at it, just like living my daily life, not spending a lot. My car was already paid off at that time. I'm not like big into material things. I'm really big into like dope experiences and stuff. So and learning from my mom and Filipina immigrant, like like we're always like frugal or trying to like stretch the dollar, trying to like just be resourceful with the things, you know. So I was always in the practice of like just not spending a lot of money. So I saved up that money, and then I was like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm not going back to school next year. And I'm going to launch the website for There's Nothing to Do in Vegas. And I'm just going to keep going. And at this, yeah, Red has been like last year I cried a lot. Last year I cried a lot because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I I was feeling frustrated because yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a businesswoman. I'm a creative first. Like I just want to do my art and live my best blessed life, but I'm literally creating my own business, so I have to like do the business things.
Right.
But also because I'm creating it, like you had mentioned earlier, I can also create it in the way I want to see it. So I don't have to be unethical. I can pay people like fair rates when I could pay people like, you know, I could do all the things that still make it feel um aligned with what my beliefs are. And my beliefs isn't like to get super rich, it's to be like to live a good comfortable life, um to not have to worry about money, but also like I don't need to be super rich for that. I just like just having a good life, rich in art, music, friends, people, community, you know. And so honestly, I'm already successful in that space. So yeah.
You're not doing it necessarily for material or like profitable gain, but you're doing it because it's needed to be sustainable.
Exactly. We live here too. So, you know, if you're like in the psychedelic realm, into like the hippie stuff or whatever, like I appreciate all those spaces, but also we're here, you know. So to me, it's always like the balance, like of all of that. And so that's what I really strive for every day, is just that balance of living my best blessed life and making my work, making it like holistic, like it's all part of everything. Some people like to have their work and their play separate. For me, I'm like, no, let's do it all. Like, let's do it all.
I mean, and you're really showing out with that. I mean, your backyard, like you said, is where you live, you know, and you host people here. I mean, I'm still kind of stunned at the fact that you were an orchestra teacher for 5 years. Like, that's so crazy. And
imagine being my student.
That would be such an honor to have you as a teacher. I bet the kids loved you.
It was a good time. I had a good time, and now sometimes I see my students out in the wild. They're like,
wild is hilarious.
They're like 23 now, and I'm like, God. Oh wait, you were my kid. You were. I knew you were middle school. It's really cool reunions when I run into them outside, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you made it.
You made it.
I would tell them all the time, like, dude, being an adult is lit. I feel like when we were kids, like they told us, like they made it seem like being an adult isn't fun, and sometimes it's not. But I feel like that's a choice.
Ooh, yeah.
And like we do have to deal with all the adult stuff, but it's like to me, I take care of the adult stuff so I can like for all of my inner children, so that they can all feel safe and be free and then do whatever they want. But the adult has to hold it down.
Right. The things.
Do the things so that we can live our best blessed life.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so out of your trajectory that you've had, who are some of your favorite collaborations that you've had, you know, throughout the years? Like, I'm curious to know because I'm sure you meet tons of people all the time. So, is there any standout mentions that you'd like
That's
to
really
shout
cool.
out?
Thank you for asking that. One of my most recent like favorite collaborations or things that we've promoted is the Nevada Farmers Markets. So you can go to NTDLV.com. You can find poetry nights, you can find punk shows, b-boy jams, and now you can also see when the farmers markets are every day. And I'm always looking for the farmers market, so like, you know, to get that fresh produce and that organic, like, you know, just the good stuff. So to me, yes, girl, the homemade sourdough, everything. So to me, that's one of my favorite like promotions that we've done. And yes, collaborations. I don't know how anyone else's world works, so I can't speak for other worlds, but I know that my strength has been my relationship building and maintaining those relationships. And then, so that one was through a friend who we met when we were both substitute teaching. And then we just stayed in touch all this time. We're not like the everyday friends, but we're like the friends where you see them and it feels good, and you know they're leveling up and you're leveling up, and now she's a doctor. But she's the one that was like, hey, I'm working with the farmers markets. I think it'd be dope to promote it on NTDLV. And I was like, you're so right, because you know, to me, Vegas culture, I always say, is like everything. We have everything from the farmers markets to the strip clubs and everything in between. I think it's all important. Like strippers go to farmers markets, when you know, like people at farmers markets go to strip clubs. Like everything's everything, you know. Like
Yeah.
I feel like the separation is really like, I really just try and bring everybody together.
Right, it's all one ecosystem. We're all out here, we're all working, grinding, trying to live our best lives.
Yes, exactly. So farmers markets, like I mentioned before, Pride Style Pro Wrestling, really happy to be like a sponsor of them, because they're just such like a space that I never knew about. I'm really happy to be like cannabis adjacent. So I'm not like, people think I'm in the cannabis world, and I'm not. I just happen to throw a dope event that involves smoking. And then we collab with the 420 State Fair. So we'll be at the 420 State Fair, and we work with Nuwu and with Green a lot. And shouts out to Steezy. Like they've all, they're all businesses and brands that have helped us come up as well. I know there's so many more, and I hate that I can't think of them off the top. Like so many more, like artistic and musical ones. We host the world's largest all styles monthly dance battle at Ninja Karaoke. That's been going on for 8 years, and it's every first Friday after First Friday. It starts at 11 p.m. on First Friday. Why does it start at 11 p.m.? Well, because we have some of the dopest dancers in the world that perform on the strip. They perform at Awakening, they perform at Cirque du Soleil, but they came in as street dancers. So then they come in battle, and the dancing is top notch. Last month, one of Beyonce's backup dancers came and destroyed and battled. You know, it's like our little dance battle like is little, but it's also worldwide. So like to me, those kinds of things are dope. Like for someone like Beyonce's backup dancer, or the guy I went to school with, Tosh, who is Chris Brown's #1 dancer. Like we went to LVA. I graduated from basic, but I went to LVA for a year.
What? You went to LVA for a year?
Yeah.
I went to LVA for a year too.
Oh, what'd you go for?
Theater. What about you?
I went for orchestra.
Oh, for orchestra.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. That's crazy. What year did you go?
I graduated 2006.
Oh, okay, so you did your senior year there?
I did my freshman year at LVA.
I did my freshman year at LVA too.
Oh, for real?
That's so
And then you went back to your home school?
And then I went back to my home school. What are your thoughts on going back to your home school?
Like, you know, it's like partial regret. It's like, damn, I was such a teenager. Like, why did my parents just make me go? But also, it was taxing. It was a taxing schedule. And I
can relate to
I
that.
wanted to, like, you know, be around my friends or people like in my area. I didn't even have friends in my area, but that's what Grateful for My Story is about. I went to LVA for cello, but I really wanted to play bass. And they wouldn't let me. They were like, no, you're good on cello, just stick to cello.
What?
So when I went to my homeschool basic, the jazz band needed a bass player, and then eventually the orchestra needed a bass player. So that's how I got to become a bass player, is because I finally got, you know, I got to do it. They were like, oh yeah, we need one. Like, come on, like, let's go. So that led me into so many more things. Like, you know, it's just like, who knows what the trajectory would have been. I also know a lot of people like that stay at LVA. They don't stay doing their art. I know a lot of people that have graduated and don't, because, you know, it's such like a intensive time that sometimes it pushes people away, or like you know, they just do it so much and then they're like, I'm done with it. You know,
yeah,
like
they get burnt out from it.
Burnt out, yes, exactly. So it's just like, who knows? And playing bass guitar has gotten me into so many doors, like through my bands and through playing bass for other artists and understanding that part of the music so that I can bring it into the music that I create now.
Yeah, I mean, you being a bass player is so badass. It's such a dope instrument.
It's dope.
So what got you into wanting to play that and playing cello too?
My dad's a jazz head, and like that's the only music we listened to when I was growing up. Like most Black households, like you're listening to Stevie, you're listening to Mike, Temptations, Al Green. Not my house. Not my house. We were listening to Mingus, Miles, John Coltrane, Abby Lincoln, Max Roach. Like we were listening. Like that's it. That's all my dad listened to. So that instrument in the music he listened to just like attracted me. I don't know why. I was just like, I love that low end. I gotta play it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. Like that's the coolest part to me. So that's why I started playing bass. Cello I started playing because I wanted to play bass, but an adult at the time said that bass wasn't for girls. So I listened to them because I was 11, and I was like, yeah, they're an adult. Like, don't be that adult. Don't be that adult that tells kids like what they can or can't do based on their genitalia or their height or like just let the kids explore, do all the things. They'll come to their own conclusion. But anyways, I believe them, and so I picked the next biggest instrument because I was like, I just like, some people like making things a little difficult for themselves.
It was the next runner up.
It was the next runner up. It was the next biggest instrument that I had to haul around. And it's like, wow, why didn't I choose violin? But I know why. I really just love that sound. I didn't love the sound of the violin. I loved that low end. So that's why.
Yeah, something about that sound just vibrates in your whole body, which it's just such a beautiful instrument. So it's so cool that you can play both of them, actually. But interesting to hear about the story and how you got to choosing that versus the bass. So okay, you mentioned grateful for my story. Let's tap into that.
You mentioned it.
Oh,
you mentioned
did I mention it?
No, I mean I did now, but you brought it up out there, and I love that so much.
I mentioned it first, but she brought it back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it. How did this song come about?
Okay. Thank you for asking because I love that song. Let's see.
How did the sound come about? How did you create the lyrics? Earlier we talked a little bit about the substance of it,
Yeah.
But like in the production of the song, what was that like?
Thank you so much for asking that. I love talking about that stuff. That song came out actually like in my earlier music making part of my music making, which I would say was like around 2020, 2021. So in 2020, as we all know, like COVID happened and we couldn't come together as people. So here I am, a bass player, playing in bands, playing with other artists, and we couldn't have band rehearsal. I had a machine called a looper. And if you're not familiar with a looper, it's like this device where you could put like a sound in, like a continuous sound. So like a drum beat, like boom, patat, ba-doom, pat, boom, patat, ba-doom, pat. And then that keeps going. So keep that in your mind. And then now if I wanted to, I could add a bass line on top of it, or I could add keys on top of it, or I could add vocals on top of it, right? And you can just kind of keep adding as you go. Probably the most famous looper out there right now, his name is Mark Rabelais. And are you familiar?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. He's like naked with his shirt off. He's like, hot with his glasses and his shirt off. And then he's like making these crazy songs, but then they come out like amazing. Okay, so that's what he does. We have the same loop station. At that time, I literally only had like 2 or 3 songs that I had came up with myself, like produced myself, written and wrote myself, like, and played like what I considered songs. I was in the middle of practicing one of them, and then I literally like just stopped, and like something else came through, like, and I was like, oh, I gotta like switch. I had to like load a new track and then I just, like, the parts just came out. The parts just, they just, I had what came first? I want to say that melody came first, like bum bum dun 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 dun, right? So that came out, or maybe the chords came out first. Dun, dun. Either way, one of those came out first, and I'm not singing in the right key. Don't, okay, musicians, don't. Okay, I'm not a perfect pitch perfect person, but and it just came out. I had just started seeing Red at that time.
We love a love story.
And I couldn't wait to show it to him. I just loved it. I was like, dude, he's gonna love this beat. And I showed it to him, and he was like, all right, yeah, whatever. he was like, yeah, it's okay, like it's cool. But normally, like, if I show a beat to like a rapper and they like it, they're like, oh yeah, I want that, like they're right away like, yeah, I want that. He wasn't like that with this beat. He was like, yeah, it's cool, it's cool. And I was like, I think this beat is amazing, and so I'm gonna keep rocking with it. And I just kept listening to it, and I was on my lunch break at school one day. I was smoking in my car on my lunch break, just at school. Well, in the parking lot by the school, right? I was smoking on my lunch break, just like listening to the song over and over and over again. And I was thinking about my mom, who just passed in 2021. And I was just thinking about her and like,
sorry about your mom.
Thanks. Yeah. She helped, uh she gave a lot of energy to like this era of my music making. Her passing gave a lot of energy to my music making. And yeah, I was just thinking about her. And then that's when the words and the melody came through for the hook. I was just listening to the beat, and I was like thinking about her death, and thinking of ways, how to process it, right? Like, damn, this really happened. So what am I getting from it now that she's passed? Aside from like me being grateful for her in my life, I'm also grateful now that I have this experience, so that when other people experience death, now I'm able to understand where they're coming from. Before, I literally had no clue. Yeah. Right? Now I'm like able to like process, or to help them process. Maybe some of my understanding will help them understand a little more. And that to me is like the part that we're grateful for when we go through hard times, right? It's like going through hard times. Now I can hold a safe space for others, or now that somebody did something bad to me, now I can make sure that that never happens again for anyone else, like those kinds of things. And yeah, the melody in the song just came through. I'm grateful for my story. I'm grateful for my story. I'm grateful for my story. Even when it gets hard, right? Even when it gets hard. Even when it gets hard, like, it's like, so now it's like, I've been to the point where it's like you go through something hard, and then after the fact, you're like, you find that point of okay, I'm grateful I went through that now because this, I'm grateful now that someone told me I couldn't play bass, because now I play cello and bass. I'm grateful that I ended up at my home school, because now I had this opportunity that I didn't have, those kinds of things. Now my personal goal is, as I'm going through the hard things, to still be grateful in that moment. And to me, that's like the next level. That's like the next level. Okay, we're going through something hard. How can I, like, okay, maybe it's frustrating, upsetting, maybe it's hurtful. Okay, what am I grateful for? Like, just like the sooner you can get there, it's like the sooner you can transmute that, and, make it be like, doesn't have to be a positive thing for your life, but at least where you can be at peace with it.
Thank you for sharing that. That was so beautiful. And I know I'm not the only one who would need this message. Like, I know tons of people who listen to this would relate. And I say tons of people because tons of people are going to watch this.
That's right. I know that's right. Yes. After I put the melody on it, then Red heard it again, and he was like, all right. And I was like, all right, you take that. And then he wrote his verses. And to me, his verses, like, if you're listening, they fully explain what I just said. He talks about his whole journey, you know, his journey of being grateful for his story. And I feel like if you didn't get it in the hook, he really does a great job of explaining it in the verses. Like, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, and I love the duo too. So I love you and Red on that track. I think it was just like a perfect collab because it's like you have this sultry voice, soft, feminine. It's a deep topic, and then Red, you know, he's a rapper. I think I met him through LVA folks.
Yeah, yeah.
But I know he's been doing rap music for like I know him as a rapper, you know.
Yeah.
So like to see that come together is like really cool, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love making music with him.
Yeah, and you guys perform it together too, right?
Yeah, we perform it. We have a couple more tracks in the works.
Awesome.
But we're always just here at the crib, like me making beats, him rapping. That's
Yeah, it's part of your lifestyle.
It's part of our lifestyle.
You
Yeah.
just create. You're just an artist at heart. I mean, I know you have, like you just said, have stuff coming. But what are you looking forward to the remainder of the year? Like, what's next for Coco Jenkins? Like, what's next for you?
I'm such a present person that those questions are always like, I don't know, like, what am I eating today? I don't know. I'll know when I get there.
Yeah.
But also, like, if I were to sit and think about it, it's like, it's just because I feel like I'm always working. It's been my whole life. I've been like, I look back, you know, they have like the Facebook memories or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing I was doing before. I'm playing music. I'm doing nothing at NTDLV. I'm like hanging out with my friends. But now just on a different level or a different era, a different part of it. So what's next is really like, well, if you haven't been to NTDLV.com, please check it out. But also, I just made a huge investment into the website, so it's gonna get an upgrade.
Ooh,
and
love to hear it.
Yeah, I was on Fremont Street's website, and I was just using it, and I was like, oh, I love how it flows. I love how it feels and looks. And so I reached out to the rep designers, and they were like, all right, dope, it's gonna cost you a couple $1,000s. And I was like, I prayed on it, and I was like, no, this is like, you know, it's just investment of self. You gotta invest in yourself, and so that everyone else can see what you see. They sent me like a mock-up, and I'm really excited for it to like get fully designed. And I don't know if that sounds boring to y'all, but it's like very exciting because this is it. And you know, I've grown. I'm really grateful for the platform that Instagram has given me, but also like their algorithm is not a fan, hasn't been a fan of ours. And this NTDLV.com is a fully independent Black and Filipino woman owned and energized platform. You know, there's no algorithms, there's no censorship. There's really like what you see is what you get. People are welcome to post their own events on there. So, how we do the calendar is like I told you, I have so many events in my head. But at this point now, it's really trying to get everybody to be like, oh, I got an event. I'm throwing this event. Let me put it on ntdlv.com because I know people go there to find things to do in Vegas, to find people to connect with, to find their weirdos and things to do. So like any kind of event, if you have it, like the most community event, like are you having a community potluck? Are you, I don't know, having a craft night at your house? You're welcome to put that on there. All the way to throwing like a festival. Are you throwing a festival? Put that on ntdlv.com. You know, like the more people that use it and let people know like it's available, it just helps. To me, it helps the city. It helps me, but it's really like, no, we can all do this together. You know, everybody needs to like, it's just the more hands that push it up, the more people will see it, you know? When people like do their reels, it's so crazy to me that people will post a reel or a flyer, a show, and then use like a Kendrick Lamar song when there's 5 Vegas artists on the flyer. Use our music. you got a friend that's a Vegas artist, music artist, and you did a recap reel of your day, use their music. Like,
Right.
are you really a fan? Are you really a supporter? Like go all the way, you know? Because to me, that's the only, like, it's us. It's on us. It's not on the corporations. It's like once we stop relying on them to amplify or validate what we're doing, that's when we'll be free, and it will be like we'll be in there. It's our own ish. It's our own ish. You know, like it doesn't need we together we don't need that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because Vegas music scene has been so just not on the charts, you know, like as far as like the US like as a whole goes.
1,000,000%. Yeah, like no one knows what the biggest sound is. Well, right now it's the Killers. Right now the biggest sound is the Killers.
Which I do like the Killers, but there's so much more.
There's
like
so
you said,
much
there's
more.
so much talent. There's a but I think it's getting cultivated. And I think it's people like you and community that you lead that's like really pushing those people up. And with your help we can make it happen.
1,000,000%. There's Del Pueblo. Are you familiar with them? They're like I would say like Mexican indie punk.
Got
like that.
I have to tap in.
Yeah,
you said
you're not
Mexican
familiar.
post-punk?
Yeah,
What?
come on. Yeah.
I love me some Mexican post-punks. That's
well,
my latest favorite
Sao
niche.
Pablo, they host different events, so they host like all different kinds of like genres of like bands.
Oh,
but
okay.
they're like a Latin owned platform, like or collective.
Not you putting me on to some
There's
stuff.
my
What's
homegirl
new?
that
Are we
throws
surprised?
the punk shows here. She's Latina. Hers is called 1-800-DEAD-ASS.
I'm
And
dead. Wait,
she,
what?
yeah,
Dead ass, that's the name?
yeah. So she throws like say like doom metal, like punk, like that's all her stuff. And then of course there's a lot of really dope like hip hop, like live instrumentation. I would say with the foundation of hip hop. Like
I love
it's not like it sure you could call it jazz or soul or funk, but it's not. It's like hip hop, but like with instrument. Yes, exactly.
Love it.
There's so many dope collectives and organizations that platform really cool, independent, unique, original music here in Las Vegas. There's a lot of bands and music artists that have their own sound that I think is unique to Vegas.
How would you describe Vegas sound? What you just listed out right now?
Yeah, there's like that east side sound. There's like that east side. Yeah, that east side sound. There's like a couple different rap sounds from here. I would say like people don't know this, but there is a legacy of hip hop bands in Las Vegas.
Oh, snaps.
So remember I told you I was in a band called R&R, Rhyme and Rhythm. So before us there was a band called the Chapter Crew, and they're like Questlove from The Roots did their album intro, so they're like certified, like they were dope. They were such a wave, and then we came along. After my band was a band called The Leak. Shouts out to Rasar, R.I.P. Rasar. But they would come out in suits and perform. Like he would rap, and then they were like definitely on a more jazzy tip. After The Leak came out Noir Movement, which is Red's band.
Oh, snaps. I'm familiar with Noir.
So it's like there's this legacy of hip hop bands in Las Vegas that I feel like people aren't necessarily aware of, but it's like such a sound that we're good at and cultivate here.
Which I think is interesting. You mentioned kind of the aesthetic and the sound, like melding in the jazz and incorporating that, but the suit and the you bringing up Noir Movement, it makes me think of like kind of has that aesthetic of like old Vegas or like glamour, glamorous Vegas, but like hip hop reinvented with like infusion of jazz and all the other things you just listed.
That's it.
Okay, I wanted to bring it back to one thing. So when I asked you, what's up next for you, and you said I'm still doing the same things, I just wanted to comment on that because I feel like that's what makes greatness is when you consistently do something and you practice and go at it, and you just refine your craft. And I feel like that's what you're doing. So just wanted to give you some kudos there.
Thank you. Yeah, really, that consistency. That's so cool. I was thinking about that yesterday about, what is success? What is success for people? For me, I know, like, people see me and they think I'm successful, and I would agree. Like, I feel successful in this era of what I'm doing, and then there will be a time for it to, like, level up, but I don't ever feel like I haven't been, because I continue to do it. You just continue to do it. Like, there's gonna be, like, ups and downs. There's never like oh, I made it and that's it, now I'm successful. No, once you hit that, you got to maintain that. So it kind of, like, doesn't stop unless you stop that thing, unless you're like, okay, I'm Michael Jordan, I retired. But then even he came back, like, until you're like, okay, I'm fully done with this. I don't think there's ever, like, a time where you stop. If you're going to be successful, you have to have that consistency. Underground Coloring Club, so we started it last year. It's been a year now. I remember the first couple months, on it would be Tuesday. We always have it the first 2 Tuesdays of the month. It starts at 7 p.m. It would be Tuesday at 5 p.m. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, 6 people signed. I would be calling people, hey, you want to come to Underground Coloring Club? DMing people, hey, come to Underground Coloring Club, trying to send out codes. Like, hey, I know you came last week. Here's a code to come for free this time. Now at noon on Tuesday, I'm at capacity. And it's just because we were consistent about it. Obviously, it didn't happen. The first couple ones, I was paying to put it on. Like, we would get the weed, we would pay for everything. People would pay, like, I think I charged people $10. We didn't even break even just for what we were providing. Now we have sponsors that they bring weed. Chiba Hut brings food. Now people pay a little bit of a higher ticket, and it's almost all profit now, which goes right back into the house and the space and the community. So, like, it, to me, it just all works. But yeah, definitely, like, that consistency. Yeah, I could have just given up after a few months and been like, okay, it's not worth it. But I knew that there was something there, and we just had to keep doing it.
Yeah, your vision. You saw it through.
Yes.
And you're sustaining it and building off of it too. Like you said, you're reinvesting, and that's how successful businesses thrive. So it's great to see.
Actually, you asked about collaborations. Some of the dopest collaborations have been at Underground Coloring Club. Because we strive to paint, like, to color original artwork by Vegas artists.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
the coloring sheets are done by, like, the ones that we use are all done by Vegas artists. So we've had artists like Perry Paints, we've had Sarah Godbout. We use a girl named Cabin 7 Originals who lives in Cali now, but she's from here. We've collabed with a Just B as an artist. And we're open. We'd love to have more artists. And I think it's really cool for them too, just like as a musician, like if someone, like, remixes your track, it's kind of the same thing. You giving them a coloring sheet, now you can see how people would color it themselves or reinterpret it themselves. And so it's just like we try and connect all the dots.
Yeah, so many mediums. Like, you got the coloring, you got the mind to body connection, you got the food, the snacks, beverages, you got the, like, audio vibes, you got the interpersonal connection vibes. What isn't at Underground Coloring Club?
It's mad intentional.
Yeah.
Mad intentional.
So, okay, I have a couple more questions for you. But before we, wrap up with those, do you have any questions for me?
Sure. Yeah, how did you well, tell me. I love to hear how people found out about There's Nothing to Do in Vegas.
How people found out?
Well, like you yourself, yeah.
Okay. I was just, like, on social media post-COVID, though. Post-COVID. It was around, when did that come to be? Like, when was it officially born?
Like 2015.
2015. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I came across it around COVID time. So
That makes sense because when everything shut down, we started posting like resources, and then also like George Floyd got murdered, and so we started posting stuff around that. And I think simultaneously, because we were posting that stuff, we gained a lot of followers and eyes, but also we got suppressed by the algorithm. I feel like, yeah, it was like
somewhat like shadow banned, something like that.
1,000,000%.
Oh, that's interesting.
But a lot of people found us because
during that time period.
yeah, and I did my own like kind of podcast interviews at that time, called Nothing and Everything, and it was centered a lot around just people's rights, and like one of my favorite episodes was art inspired by the times. So like people who created like whether it was protest music or artwork that was inspired by like what we were currently all going through. Oh, wow. So I would just interview people. I interviewed people that had been arrested due to the protests. A lot of them like unjustly, or like two of them was like one of them was like coming home from work. And he got arrested because they thought he was black, and they thought he was part of the protest. Oh my god. Another one was a couple that stayed at the Tuscany on Flamingo, and they walked outside and got arrested. They walked outside to see what was going on and got arrested. Yeah, so I interviewed people that had gone to jail. I interviewed street performers. So that's yes. I understand if that's when you started seeing Nothing to Do LV.
What's cool about you also is that you also engage in activism too. And I'm telling you, this was around that time, COVID time, right? Discovered it. Oh, and I started seeing stickers around and stuff. Okay. And I just, like I said, like I loved the concept because I'm like, wow, it's so relatable. Like, you know, like that's really, so it's cool that you've compiled like all these different avenues, all these different resources, all these different people and communities. And I deleted my Instagram, so like created new ones since then. So it was like I would come back online and be like, oh yeah, like everyone's page, and I'll follow it, and I'll delete that account and be offline for a minute and come back and I'll be on the listening page. But anyway, I'm rambling, my bad. You have posted about your tattoos on your armpit. Oh, I was wondering if we can see them.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
Can you see? Zoom in on the
oh my gosh!
Okay, so I remember you posting this. So what made you want to get these tattoos, and what do they mean?
This one, I got when I was young and dumb, and I did everything. I split my tongue.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about that next.
And I got my armpit tattoo, and I just feel like I just got it because I was early 20s and I did whatever I felt like. Sometimes when I go out now, I'm like channeling early 20s Coco because she just didn't know any better sometimes, which is, sometimes a blessing, right? Like if you just like out there, like just, trying things because you don't have that wisdom of like, no, that's not polite, or, you just be doing stuff. Yeah. So I got my tongue split because I saw it and I thought it was cool. And I was like, that's dope. And I want that. And I also like that I know that people wouldn't necessarily expect me to have that, right? Like, I don't have like the look. Like, when I go to that event I was telling you about at Freakorama, there's always like 10 other people with a split tongue. But they're also like super tatted, or like the one homie has horns. Like, so if you see a split tongue on him, you're like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
With me, like, I worked at the library. I was a music teacher. Like you wouldn't necessarily like. Yeah, that was my first job. I was gonna be a librarian. I was on that trajectory.
Oh my goodness.
And then this, my band R&R, we went and did a show in San Diego, and me and some of the band were like, we're gonna go a little early and go to TJ, just to vibe out. And then the guys, they went to like a brothel, and there was a tattoo shop next door. And I was like, all right, well, you guys do that. I'm gonna go get a tattoo. And then I was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo on my armpit because I think that's gonna look dope. And shouts out to that artist. I wish I knew his name or his shop because he did such a beautiful job. Like, he did such a great job. And I would love to go back to him and just like show him love because this piece I just love it.
it's just such a cool piece, and the placement, I think it's so unique, and I think it like speaks to how like unique you are as a person too.
Thank you. Yeah, I love
I've
it.
never seen armpit tattoos. It's such a like sensitive area. Like usually people don't like them to be exposed, but being like, "Ha, look at my armpits," is like so empowering.
And then after I got this one, sometimes you just know things about yourself. Like sometimes you just know. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to get the other one until one of my parents, I was like, I know it's going to be a tribute piece. So after my mom passed, I got this one. And I remember always thinking of this concept of like the lion with the flowers around it, like the black and white lion with the flowers around it. And when I was younger, I always wanted it to be like a full mane lion. And then when as I got older and just understanding like the power of femininity more and just understanding my power as a woman and like being more comfortable with it, I was like, oh no, I'm going to get a girl lion. So this is a lion, and yeah, the flowers are around it, and I got it like pretty soon, shortly after my mom passed, and all the pain helped the pain.
Wow, so beautiful.
What
a story.
Yeah, this one young and dumb, this one like intentional tribute. Thanks, mom. Shouts out to B-Boy Smurf too. Smurf did this tattoo. He's a homie and a really dope tattoo artist if you need one.
What's something that you would like to impart onto the youth? Like somebody who's looking into maybe doing something similar to what you do.
Like there's like 3 things I try and tell people. One is to like just do it, like just start, like try not to think too much about it. Sometimes the things that you do, they'll reveal themselves as if you just start it. I didn't know nothing to do LB would be this. I just started it. I was like, I think I can share stuff. I didn't think about it making money. I just loved to let people know about cool things to do. So, and then I also tell people to find the thing that's missing. So, like, that's what I felt like was missing, like a platform where people could find cool things to do that weren't like basic, a little more creative, weird, underground, whatever. And yeah, I saw a need for that. So, also, like, yeah, I think it's cool that people do things, but if you're gonna, I don't know, just find something different. There's so many things that we need to do, and whatever, like whether it's art or fashion or a platform or a podcast, what is missing from the scenery? Like fill that niche, right? Um, and then also that's because I don't like to compete. I don't like to. I'm not a competitive person. I'm not trying to be better than nobody. So I'll just do my own thing. Then it's my own thing. Then there's nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, there's only one of you.
Exactly. And then the last thing is actually find a mentor because they've made mistakes and they have knowledge so that you don't have to experience that. Um, yeah, and I'm grateful to have, even though I've created this lane, I have, a couple people that it's not exactly what I do, but it's something similar. So I can always like, call them for advice or let them know the kind of situation I'm in that I might be struggling with. But yeah, find a mentor and don't be afraid to ask them for help or guidance.
That's good. Anybody you want to shout out? Else? You've already shouted out a lot of people though.
I know, I be doing shout outs. And once I start, it's like once I start, I can't stop. Like, how can I, like, how, if I mention this person, I can't not mention this person.
That's true.
I do got to shout out NPR Arturo Cesenia. He hosts the dance battles, and he helped me start There's Nothing to Do in Vegas. He literally created the Instagram page and said, here, do it on Instagram, because I was doing it on Facebook. I would just make a list. Hey, I have a show this weekend, and here's like 10 other shows you should go to. If here's 10 other cool things you might want to check out. But he put it on Instagram. He made that move. And shouts out to Giselle, who's been holding me down and runs our foodie page, Nothing to Do LV Eats, and has taken it to all new levels. She literally has her own world of what she does with the foodie page, and that's so dope. She came in to Nothing to Do LV to help me because I went to China for a month for a music teacher trip to China, and I was like, I could run it from China, but I think I'll need some help. And Giselle stepped up and she stayed on. And like I said, now she has her own platform. Um, Shouts out to Red, who always supports everything I'm doing, and also make sure I'm getting paid. And just shouts out to all the friends that continue to support me, and not just friends but all the people that continue to champion Nothing to Do LV, like yourself, and help spread the word, because to me that's actually been my greatest promo, is just word of mouth, people letting people know, people telling a friend to tell a friend, that there's nothing to do in Vegas until you come to our website so you can find out the cool things to do. um, it just means so much because, like I said, independent, Black, Filipina, woman owned platform. We don't necessarily have the money, but we have the community and the support. And to me, that's like I'll never get over it. I will never get over it. Mm-hmm.
And can I just say, it's been so cool getting to meet you. Thank you for opening up your home and like showing me around. And like, you have such a cool way of speaking, like
Oh,
for real.
thanks.
Like, and with your content, like your voice, you have a really nice voice too, and like the way you express yourself is like dope.
I appreciate that so
Right.
much. And I definitely think that comes from like, just like you said, like continuing to do it. I look back at old videos and I'm like, it's cringe sometimes, but it's like, you look back, you cringe, and then you refine it. So, like, now I'm always enjoying what I'm doing or saying, like, I think that should be a goal. Just enjoy, like, to find a way to enjoy what you're doing. So, if you don't like it, like, what is your part in controlling it so that you can make it something that you enjoy?
Yeah, and you're iconic, beautiful, smart, creative, talented. Coco Jenkins. Thank you so much for being on Who Is That Be Talking To?
Thanks for hanging out at the crib. This is my favorite space. So like, I know it's like maybe I'm orthodox, but I love having people over like more than anything. So thanks for being down to hang out in my room.